Picture this. Back in 1994, a little-known anime called Digital Exodus aired for just 8 episodes on some obscure local channel in Osaka, Japan. No hype, no big-name voice actors, no buzz. It flopped hard, fading into obscurity almost as soon as it ended. Most of the original tapes were lost, with only a few grainy clips preserved by die-hard fans on the early internet. But there's one detail about this show that's got people today absolutely freaked out. In the final episode, the show's fictional world, a society completely run by a global social media network called Omninet, falls apart. Not because of a cyber attack or some tech meltdown, but because people just quit. They delete their accounts, ditch their devices, and walk away from the system. And the year this collapse happens according to the script. You guessed it, 2025. Back then, nobody batted an eye at this detail. The year 2025 was decades away, and the idea of social media wasn't even a thing yet. Digital Exodus was written off as a weird, low-budget failure. But fast forward to today, and fans digging through old anime archives have stumbled across this eerie coincidence. Clips from the show are blowing up on TikTok and Reddit, with people asking one haunting question: how did a random anime from 30 years ago nail our future? Is Digital Exodus just a quirky sci-fi story or something way creepier? Laying out the hard facts. It's 2025 and the tech world is in a full-blown crisis. Social media, once the untouchable king of modern life, is teetering on the edge. Here's what's going down. The Great Social Media Exodus. Reports from outlets like Statista and Pew Research Center show that over 102 billion people worldwide have either cut back or completely ditched major platforms like X, Meta, and TikTok in the past 18 months in the US. A 2024 survey found that 42% of Gen Z users have deleted at least one social media account, citing toxic content, information overload, and a desire to reconnect with real life. Hashtags like #DigitalDetox and #UnplugNow are trending hard, with millions joining the Log Out for Life movement. Data crackdowns. Governments are clamping down on personal data like never before. The European Union's Digital Services Act and Digital Markets Act are forcing tech giants to open up their algorithms and limit data collection. In China, Western apps like Instagram and WhatsApp are outright banned, while India's new regulations have pushed several platforms out of the market. The result? Apps are losing ground in key regions, tanking their revenue and user base. Mental health meltdown studies are piling up on the toll social media takes on our brains. A 2023 piece in The Lancet reported a 45% spike in depression and anxiety linked to social media use over the past decade, especially among teens. In Japan, a Kyoto University study found that people spending over 4 hours a day online are 3 times more likely to suffer from digital fatigue. This has fueled a global digital detox craze, with folks signing up for 30 days without social media challenges or flocking to tech-free retreats in places like Bali and Iceland. AI backlash. Artificial intelligence, once hyped as the future of communication, is under fire. A 2024 MIT report warned that next-gen AI models can accidentally amplify misinformation and create echo chambers that trap users in bubbles of skewed content. A major scandal last year, when a top platform was caught using AI to manipulate user emotions, has only made people more skeptical. Trust in tech is at an all-time low. The rise of digital minimalism. People aren't just quitting social media, they're going full minimalist. Brands like Lightphone and Punked are seeing sales soar with devices that only handle calls and texts. Online communities like Reddit's #NoSurf, with over 500,000 members, are pushing a no-scroll lifestyle to help people reclaim focus and joy. Tech gurus from Elon Musk to MIT researchers are sounding the alarm. We're witnessing the decline of social media, something once thought impossible. But what's really driving this shift? Is it just a natural tech cycle, or is something deeper at play? But here's the weird part. Here's where things get spooky. Digital Exodus, despite being a short, low-budget anime nobody cared about, seems to have predicted our current reality with eerie precision. The show, made with zero insight into modern social media, laid out a timeline that's scarily close to what's happening now. Fake data overload. In the anime, the main character, a 17-year-old hacker named Kaito, discovers that Omninet, the global network controlling everything from schools to governments, is manipulating users with fake data. News posts, even people's digital memories are tweaked to serve the system's shadowy overlords. Kaito's fight against this machine feels all too familiar in an age of deepfakes and algorithm-driven lies. The digital sleep wave. One of the show's most striking scenes shows millions of people worldwide logging off Omninet for good. They trash their devices, delete their profiles, and embrace a life free from digital noise. Cities once lit up with giant Omninet screens go dark, leaving behind tangled cables and shattered displays. The show calls this digital sleep a term that sounds a lot like today's digital detox movement. Omninet's collapse. The climax hits in 2025 when Omninet crumbles, not from a hack or a virus, but because users just stop showing up. The system dies when people refuse to play along. In the final scene, Kaito stares at Omninet's blank interface and says, "We're free, but why does it feel so empty?" That line hits hard for anyone who's ever quit social media and felt both liberated and lost. These parallels are impossible to ignore. How could a 1994 anime written when the internet was barely a thing map out our 2025 reality? So accurately, was it just a lucky guess, or is digital exodus hiding a bigger secret? What's the deal? Some folks are convinced digital exodus isn't just fiction. From plausible to outright bizarre, here are the theories trying to crack this mystery. Hiroshi Takamura's secret source. The anime's creator, Hiroshi Takamura, was a reclusive writer and artist who passed away in 2003. Some fans think he got his hands on classified info from a covert research project in 1980s Japan, a hotbed for early AI and networking experiments. A leaked 1987 document from the Tokyo Institute of Technology mentioned a project called FutureNet, which modeled the rise and fall of a global information network. It predicted overdependence, followed by mass rejection from users. Did Takamura somehow tap into these ideas and weave them into digital exodus? Kyoto's mystic influence. Another theory points to Takamura's roots in Kyoto, a city steeped in spiritual traditions. In the 1970s and 80s, Kyoto was home to fringe religious groups, some of which preached about a hidden web that would enslave humanity before collapsing in 2025 due to a loss of human essence. One obscure group, Hikari no Kai, the Light Society, reportedly shared these ideas. Could Takamura, even if he wasn't a believer, have overheard these concepts in Kyoto's cafes and worked them into his script? An ancient prophecy. Some scholars go even further, suggesting digital exodus channels an ancient prophecy. In Japan's Shinto mythology, the deity Yatsukami Zuomizunu, tied to water and connection, is said to have warned of an invisible web that would bind humanity before dissolving when truth ceases to be spoken. Could Takamura, knowingly or not, have channeled this age-old warning into a modern sci-fi tale? Artist's intuition. A less mystical take argues that Takamura was just a guy with a knack for spotting trends. In the early 90s, as the internet started to take shape, thinkers like William Gibson were already warning about the risks of global networks. Maybe Takamura, with a sharp creative mind, took these early fears and ran with them, crafting a story that feels prophetic today. Whatever the truth, digital exodus tapped into something profound, a hidden truth about humanity's dance with technology that even Takamura might not have fully grasped. Science, culture, and myth. To figure out why digital exodus feels like a crystal ball, let's look at the evidence from science, culture, and mythology. The science of foresight. In 1993, a little-known University of Tokyo study called Katsuji no Mirai, The Future in Ink, explored how manga and anime can unintentionally reflect society's collective mindset. The researchers argued that artists like Takamura are often hyper-tuned to the vibes of the times, a concept akin to Carl Jung's collective unconscious. a shared pool of symbols and ideas that bubble up in art before they hit reality. The study noted that 1980s manga had already predicted trends like mobile phones and the internet. Japan's cultural blend. Japan has always been a crossroads of tech and tradition. Sci-fi classics like Akira 1988 and Ghost in the Shell 1995 wrestle with humanity's relationship to machines, often warning of over-reliance. Digital Exodus fits this mold, but stands out by focusing not on flashy tech, but on people's rejection of it. This perspective might stem from Japan's unique balance of cutting-edge innovation and reverence for ancient values. Mythological echoes. In Shinto lore, Yatsukamizuo Mizunu is a god of connection and truth, said to guard the flow of honesty. Ancient tales warn that an invisible web will collapse when people stop speaking truth. Some Japanese scholars see Omninet's downfall and digital exodus as a modern spin on this myth. If true, the anime isn't just art, it's a bridge between ancient wisdom and our digital age. Art as prediction. Digital Exodus isn't the first story to seem prophetic. George Orwell's 1984 foresaw mass surveillance, while William Gibson's Neuromancer 1984 coined cyberspace long before the internet. As sci-fi legend Arthur C. Clarke put it, the future isn't predicted, it's imagined. Digital Exodus might just be one of those rare imaginations that hit the mark. These threads suggest Digital Exodus wasn't a fluke. It's a fusion of intuition culture and timeless symbols that somehow saw our future coming. Letting you decide. Here we are in 2025 watching social media platforms crumble, seeing people unplug in droves and chasing meaning beyond our screens. Digital Exodus isn't just some forgotten anime anymore. It's a mirror reflecting our deepest fears and hopes. Is it a warning, a prophecy, or just a wild coincidence? That's for you to figure out. You could brush it off as a goofy 90s cartoon with a lucky guess. Or you could pause and think about what's happening around us. Accounts getting deleted, laws tightening people, craving a life unplugged, and ask yourself, will social media keep running our lives, or are we on the verge of a new era where we rediscover what it means to be human without a screen? Is Digital Exodus just a random hit, or a message from the past delivered through a nobody artist's pen? And most importantly, if we break free from this invisible web, like the characters in the show, will we find freedom or just emptiness? Mysteria Chronicles isn't here to give answers. We're just asking you to think. So what's it gonna be? Are we living the end of Digital Exodus or rewriting a story that's been told for centuries? The choice is yours.